This is the Rebel Author Podcast, where we talk about books, business, and occasionally bad
words. Well, hello, Sacha Black.
Hello, darling.
We're both falling apart.
Oh my God. I've been sick as well. I'm like
I've been
only
sick
just
too.
coming. What is with
I've
that?
been like dire. It's been horrible. I'm in my third week of not feeling well, but it really knocked me out for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I'm exaggerating a little bit. It was like 11 days of just flat.
My other friend who's in New Zealand has been sick for like 2 or 3 weeks, so maybe it's something going around your
They
neck of the
say that
woods.
there's something awful going around. I never tested positive for COVID, but it felt like that. But another friend said it could have been RSV or something. But it's just,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's been horrible. So I'm not going to have
Yeah.
too much of an update this week. What were you sick with?
Mm. Oh, just like some sinusy, coldy, like exhaustion really, I think is probably. I'm not sure if it was exhaustion or relief or a little bit of all of it, because my new team member started in the warehouse and they're fucking brilliant. So,
Ah.
yeah, it was like immediate, like stress relief. Um, and it all culminated around the same time that obviously the Kickstarter finished, and then I managed to finish editing the novella. The novella got back from the editor, so like it all kind of,
Of course you got sick.
yeah,
You had been just
yeah.
busting your ass for so long. So does that mean that you don't have to go to the warehouse all the time?
Yes. I mean, so there are still, okay, so there are only so many books I can sign in a day, right? So like
Yeah.
I kind of max out around 1,000 comfortably.
Wow.
But that was also because I was stamping them at the same time, and now they stamp them, so I can actually sign a bit faster now. So that's
Hmm.
helping. But I was maxing out around 1,000 because you have to take them off the shelf and then blah, blah, blah. Boring. And that will only last so long. And
And are these
so,
signatures that you're doing for the Kickstarted books?
no,
Or are
these are
these just for
just
sales?
Shopify TikTok sales.
You
Yeah.
know that like if you've got a ton to do, then your assistant should be next to you, opening it to the page, sliding it in front of you. So all you do is you lift your hand, put the pen on,
I
and do
know,
it, and
but
then it goes. It'll save with RSI. It'll
I know. I think
500
with the
fine, but a
Kickstarter,
thousand? That's yeah.
I,
With the Kickstarter, have somebody
I
putting that in front of you.
yeah, because it's going to be a lot, significantly more than a
Yeah,
thousand. So I think we probably will do that for the
yeah,
Kickstarter. But
yeah.
this is just like warehouse Shopify stuff, like turning around the stock. So I still have to go in and do that. And if I do 1,000, I can more or less get away with once a month, once every 6 weeks, going in and signing. But then it's like a whole day of signing.
Right.
Um, and then I still need to film content, and it's at least 15 pieces of content a week. So it's quite a lot. So I do have to go in. I go in a couple of times to do that, but that's like an hour and I'm out.
And you have somebody doing the social media for that, right? So you don't have to produce it, or are you still producing
No,
it? Yeah,
yes, I'm still doing it because it is the mechanism by which I make all my money. So I don't, it's like if
it's
somebody was
yours.
spending
Yeah,
25 grand a month on Facebook ads, like
yeah,
they wouldn't give that up. I'm not giving this up.
yeah,
Also, I am the brand. I use my face, so
yeah.
that is very hard to hand off.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to go in for that. And then for the big deliveries, I go in as well. But then I don't have to go in for anything else. I don't have to print off any orders. I don't have to pack any orders. I don't have to pack away the deliveries. I don't have to stamp any of the books. I don't have to prep any of the freebies. Like it is so much better. Like it is, oh, my bloody cats. Yeah, I basically have got back a lot of time. Um,
Oh, that's so great. Congratulations.
yeah,
Um,
thank you.
are you getting back any more time anywhere else in your life?
Wow, you know that I am. Okay, so for listeners, I recorded the very last ever Rebel Author podcast episode today, and it was an annual lessons learned.
That's
It
going
was
to be
my
a shocker for
sixth.
people. Let's take like a moment.
It
The
is.
last Rebel Author podcast, and I'm
Yeah,
actually really glad that we're talking today as you recorded it
yeah.
today. And
I
so
was a
you might have
mess.
some feelings
Yeah, I did have
about this.
feelings.
How many episodes were you up to?
292.
Dang.
Yeah, I know. And like, so what I'm actually doing is I'm leaving the feed open.
Yeah, good.
Our Black Heron episodes will continue. They will
Hmm.
continue to go on the feed. And I'm leaving my Slack community group open, but I won't be managing it. They will self-manage. I
Yeah.
will probably pop in every so often. But I just need all responsibility taken off me. And all kind of like jobs and yeah, I just need to be a bit freer at the moment.
Yeah.
So yes, what I have said in the episode is that I am leaving it open and I hope that I will return to do the seventh annual lessons learnt, but I'm not promising because I don't know where I'm going to be. Don't know what my energy is going to be like. I don't know anything, but I
It-
really
yeah.
thoroughly enjoy those episodes for me.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
don't
you
know.
know that the listeners love them too. Those are the ones that listeners never miss. When I do a lessons, when Joanna does a lessons, when it's a solo show,
Mm.
oftentimes listeners are so invested in hearing your voice that we want to hear those things. And I'm gonna go full on like writer therapist here, which I'm absolutely unqualified to do. And just like, because I was thinking about it this morning when I couldn't sleep and I woke up coughing. Um, I was thinking about you and this is a really natural turn of events from someone who was and writing books for authors and helping authors. And now you're just like a bloody busy authoring.
So
So talk to me about what that feels like.
yeah, it's been really interesting because Sasha was so much more than just a pen name.
Yeah.
I really feel like she I kind of grew into her because she represented so many things that I hadn't been able to like. I was so restricted before, and I kind of like came into myself. And then I did the therapy, I did the coaching. Like, there was so many emotional connections and ties to Sasha.
Mm,
And she is also the reason that I was able to leave my day job. And so to give that up was both terrifying and also like I almost had to grieve a little bit
mm,
because I feel like Sasha,
mhm.
and actually my business is now Ruby, but Sasha became my name. I chose that name, whereas Ruby was like I didn't put as much thought
It was a
into
business
like
choice. That was a
as
business
a
choice.
business name,
Does it
right? Like it was,
sound good
yeah.
and sexy and yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
what the choice was. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, is this a piece of me?
Right.
Like Sasha kind of, yeah, black is my favorite color. That's why I chose that surname. Like, it was those kinds of things. So, yeah, it's been really hard to let it go. And I am actually a fucking mess in the episode as well. I literally had to stop recording about 15 or 16 times because I was like snotty and couldn't breathe. And like,
Oh
and I
no,
didn't
you're
want,
gonna make
I
us
didn't,
cry.
yeah, I've actually said to my patrons, and they don't know why, but all I've said is empathy warning for everybody on the annual lessons learned episode. And my assistant listened to it, and she was like, "Oh my God!" She was like, "I've got to stop listening, or I'm going to cry."
And this is really
So
a bolt out of the blue. This is something that you've been planning on doing for a while,
yeah,
but you have mentioned to no one, and we weren't going to
no
talk
one,
about it on this show
no,
until your patrons knew, which was the most important part.
I knew in Vegas.
Hmm. Which is
Yeah,
November, right?
I knew in
Yeah.
November that this was coming to an end, and um I recorded the last episode before Christmas. And then when I didn't have to work evenings doing all the podcast recordings, I was like, oh yeah, I don't want to go back to doing that. Like I just don't want to go back to doing that. And unfortunately, because I'm in the UK, 90% of podcast interviews have to be done in the evening because of US times, New Zealand times. It's just
Yeah.
that is the way that it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have known for a really long time and I made the choice not to tell anybody. And maybe people think that's cowardice. I don't know. I just
I don't think it's
didn't.
cowardice. I think it's a just deliberate decision that you
It
didn't
was a
want to
deliberate
you
decision,
didn't want to then you're left with that whole I don't know. I love the way you did it and I would have done the same thing. That you're not every week going four more episodes
right?
to go and
That's what
then the last one.
uh,
That's horrible. I would hate that. Just cut
exactly.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Done. It's over. And it was on a really meaningful episode as well, I think. And that is why I literally timed it so that the last episode was an annual lessons learned. Like that was an intentional choice, because I could have in November just gone, fuck it. Yeah, okay, I
Right.
might have 20 episodes in the bag, but not doing them. And I
Yeah.
didn't, and I stuck it out, because I wanted to do justice to the people who I'd interviewed, and I wanted to give them my platform to be able to speak on it. And I have to say, it was pretty hard every week having to do the intro, knowing that it was
Yeah.
coming to an end. Like that was quite hard to
Yeah.
do, I have to say. Even last week when I recorded the last interview episode, knowing that that was the last Rebel story, I was like really choked.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and actually, what I say in the episode is, I think this is my greatest rebellion because I'm choosing the path of joy, and I'm choosing Ruby. And it is a bit of rebellion when Sasha was the platform and the foundation on which I built Ruby.
But
So
you're but
yeah.
Sasha, the Sasha is not going away. You are still Sasha. You or will you give it up entirely? And
I mean, this podcast was the last piece of Sasha that I was actively
actively
involved
working,
in.
right?
Yeah. If people asked me to speak, then I would still speak as Sasha because that is the moniker that everybody knows.
Yeah.
But I'm no longer publishing books as Sasha.
And there will be a time
And
when somebody asks Ruby to speak, and they will
yeah,
ask Ruby for a reason to speak, and that then you'll be there as Ruby.
right, exactly. So yeah, and it's like I have not last year I think I did 7 conferences, and I've spoken at London Book Fair this year.
Yeah.
And I have a ticket to Vegas, but I have not pitched to speak, and they've closed speaking things. So
I was rejected for my pitch, so I'm not going. No,
what?
it's good. It's
What
all
the fuck?
maybe they got a better one in the categories, better ones in the categories that I pitched, but it's not a big deal. And then I get to save that money, which I don't really have anyway.
How
So
dare they? Who do they even know who you are? Oh my God. I'm annoyed on your behalf.
I have to tell you, I was teaching I was asked to teach a class that my friend runs. It's a writing class mostly geared towards literary fiction, but it was they're writing a novel over the course of 9 months, uh, and I think I was their first person who had come in who just was willing to talk about everything about publishing, soup to nuts, beginning to end, traditional publishing, self-publishing, and they had all the questions, and it was a fabulous class. And there was this wonderful woman there who I think she was the only romance writer, and uh, and I think it was her, maybe somebody else had asked, like, but does anybody, can you even start a pen name nowadays and get anybody to read a book? And I was like, let me tell you about my friend, Ruby Rowe. And Erica goes, I love Ruby Rowe. Oh my God, you know her?
Oh my God, I love that. That's
And
made
I was
my
like, do
day.
I know her? I have watched her. Erica, if you ever listen to this show, go back to the beginning of the Black Heron when it was all a secret and
Oh
Sasha
my
was convinced it
God.
wasn't going to work and she wouldn't tell anybody the name. Oh, look at you
Wild.
now.
Wild.
But
I
and
can't
but the
believe
thing
it.
about leaving the feed open is really nice. And then if you get, a wild yen to get on a soapbox about something, you do an episode. If you
Exactly.
fall in love with an author and you realize that they have the key that everyone is missing, you say, I'm going to have a special episode, and just drop it because that's what happens. The podcasts that I have loved that have then stopped, when they do drop an episode, the
Yeah.
downloads just spike because everybody sees it. Nobody unsubscribes. I mean, maybe
No,
they do,
no,
but they don't because
exactly.
it just doesn't clutter
No,
their feed. There's no reason to do so.
no, exactly.
So
So yeah, like it was an emotional day, I'm not gonna lie. Like I didn't realize the relief. And like I feel like that sounds terrible, but it's not because I have genuinely loved every
mhm.
single interview. I have loved the fact that people have engaged, that they sent the Rebel stories. I fucking love the community. It is the most supportive, kind, generous group of authors. And like, oh God, I'm gonna get emotional again. Like, I will miss that, but like, I feel, and I think I say this in the episode, I gave away too many pieces of myself, and I felt like I
Yes.
was prioritizing responding in like Slack or responding in Instagram rather than responding to my son or my wife. And like, I want to respond to them. You know, life is short. I want to prioritize them. And there wasn't enough pieces of me to go around to respond to everything. So I really feel like I've had this like withdrawing over the last year. And like, I don't necessarily feel like I've got the balance right either, because I think I have probably withdrawn a little bit too much. You know, I've even withdrawn from like WhatsApp groups or, you know, author groups that I've been in just because it was all a bit much. But I kind of need to come back out into the world, but slowly and not always about work, if that
Hmm.
makes
No,
sense.
I don't understand
So,
that, but yes, I agree.
you
My brain just
like,
short-circuited again, but yes.
no, but like you go and do your swimming
I do, yeah, and I do
and
have lots of different
you
little
have
communities
friends.
doing
Yeah,
weird
yeah,
ass things.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's
yeah.
really,
I
really
don't have
nice.
any of that, like none.
I want you to have weird ass things.
Right? I
I
need
just
some
spent
weird ass things.
I spent $1,000 last night at 8:30 p.m. booking this 10-day musical camping trip in 2027 that sold out in less than 30 seconds. And I'm like that
Fucking hell.
yeah,
How did you
dude.
get a ticket?
I had I we had both me and Lala were there and my fingers were faster and I got in and while she's looking and I'm telling her what I'm putting in the cart she's like no that's gone and I got it so yes there you need to be doing things like that planning for
Yeah,
these
exactly,
yeah
exactly. I need to make some in real life friends, and I need to be out in the world a little bit more and get a bit of like independence back. I feel like I've been very restricted because I've been growing this behemoth, and I'm very grateful, but also you know, there is more to life than work.
well you were growing a behemoth and you were also trying to maintain a persona that didn't need maintenance anymore with the Sasha yeah
Yes. Like, and that's the other thing. Sasha was not sustainable. Like, in order to make ends meet, I had to literally bury myself and do everything and say yes to everything. And it only just made ends meet, you know?
mm-hmm.
Whereas Ruby, I can stay in my zone of genius. And that leaves me with enough time to go to the gym or like have my eyebrows threaded or like have a conversation with my wife or, you know, like
Read a book and
read a
rest
book.
and go somewhere
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah. So,
what do you think
yeah,
you will
but
miss the most from letting the podcast go?
the community, no question, the community. Yeah, the people, the people who have been there from the start, or not just from the start, the ones who've joined whenever, like that community, they are incredible, and like oh God, I'm gonna get emotional. Like getting to witness them publish and follow their
That
dreams
is my
is
favorite
the
thing.
highest honor. Yeah,
That is my
like
favorite thing.
I love
If
that
they
more than
need a mama
anything.
bear, if any of them need a mama bear, if you're listening on the Sasha feed, go to rachelherron.com/write and sign up to be in my group. However, my mama bear vibes are very different than yours. I'm
Mine are more like whips and chains and get the
yeah,
fuck
and
over there.
mine are kisses and cuddles.
Yeah.
But it works. Do you know that it just the announcement or I just saw that the announcement went live, but it hadn't been for so long and I didn't know if I could talk about it. Well, one of my students sold at Preempt in a big deal
Wow,
recently.
that's
Like
exciting.
and just to see those kind like the not only that, but then the people who self-publish to with their gorgeous, incredible books that then readers love. It is like you know that feeling of watching your ducklings, and they're not our ducklings. That actually minimizes them. I regret saying that. Watching our peers and our friends follow their joy and get it done.
What's the hardest thing you've ever had to let go?
In what respect?
Life or work
Oh.
or, you know, just like emotionally, because this was really emotionally hard to let go of, even though I knew it was the right thing.
Oh, I have such a dumb answer, but it's and but it might actually be linked, so I'll just say it. But as an addict, letting go of alcohol and cigarettes was emotionally impossible, and I didn't know how to do it, but it was an emotional connection, and it was what supported me and gave me happiness.
Hmm.
And you have been a little bit of an addict when it comes to work and
Yeah. And
support
saying
and
yes.
yes, and yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's absolutely wrenching.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's for the right reason. And that's why
It
you're
is
able
for the
to
right
do it.
reason.
That's
Yeah.
why in the
Yeah.
morning, after you've had a nice sleep, you're going to wake up and go, oh, I don't have to record this week
Well,
anymore.
yeah, and it's funny because even this afternoon, like I had half an hour when I didn't have to do anything.
Oh my
Like
God.
I can't remember the last time I had half an hour when I didn't have anything to do. Now, don't get me wrong, there's always a to-do list,
Of
but
course, of
actually,
course.
and
But without that, but I understand without the have to do is like if I don't do this today, I'm going to have to do
right,
it tomorrow, and
right.
then it's going to get. Yeah, exactly.
I
The
can't
stress to
remember
do's.
that. Yeah. Do you know when I wrote this podcast episode? Whilst I was having my fucking hamstring tattooed, because that's how time stressed I was about getting this out on time. And it's just like I don't have any of that. And that half an hour, like this afternoon, was it was a real realization moment that actually my time is now mine because what's on my to-do list now is finish my outline and start writing the next book.
Which
Like
is
that's it,
heaven. Which is heaven.
isn't it? Like I can't, and I even say this, like there were times that I had four A4 pages with two columns of 12 point Times Roman font of to-dos. And I'm not even joking. I don't even know how many to-dos that was. 250? I don't know. It was a fucking lot. But like, I don't have any of that now.
I can see your floor behind you. Remember when your office was a tip?
Yeah, I
It-
know, thank God. I know. I mean, I won't lie, there is a little pile here, but it's markedly better in here.
what shifts you have made from being Sasha Black and then to having this idea about Ruby and then manifesting it by making it real, which is what manifest means, and then having it be successful and then freaking out as you grow it so big and so audaciously, and then freaking out about how much there is to do. And now you are right sizing it.
Yeah.
Everything is becoming right sized. You put things in their right slots. You have hired help. You
Yeah, and that's a real like and this whole episode I think is about letting go. And I even say in it, like early on before I announce the fact that the podcast is over, is that I have learnt to let go of loads of things. And like I have realized what my job is. My job is four things. But in doing the four things that are my job, I then create work for other people
Mhm.
and I'm able to let go of that work. And so I just do my important work. And the other thing I've learned is to give people the right work. And if somebody in my team doesn't enjoy doing something, they don't do it. I only want to give
Mm.
people the work that they enjoy. But by doing my job, yeah, I create more and which is exactly what I was doing before, but it's not necessarily more for me
Yeah, yeah.
because my next job is to look after my brain
So what are
and
your
my body.
four jobs?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and of course I've shut the page. Give me a second, and I'll be able to tell you. My four jobs are basically to first and foremostly write and create new stories.
Mhm.
That's number one. The second one is to understand my market and my readers.
And nobody can do that better than you, right?
Exactly. And I think part of that is my competition and the fact that I thrive on understanding the market. Um, the third one is to have the vision for the business and understand the direction and have the leadership of where we're going. And then the fourth and final one is to sell. And the reason that I say that is because I am the brand.
Hmm.
I use my face and my persona to sell. And so, whilst there are responsibilities in the team for other people to do selling, for example, ensuring that we promote certain things or ensuring that there's a newsletter, broadly speaking, it is my responsibility to make sure that the turnover keeps coming.
Mm.
And that is linked to the vision and it's linked to creating. So that's why I can't separate that out. It's
I
not
lo-
like,
I love that. I love that you've done that, and I also hear in your voice like, I am saying you're almost giving excuses as why Sal is on your list, but I think I have to say, and I hate this for myself, but that that needs to be our jobs. Like as writers, that is part of our job is the
It
selling.
is. It
And
is.
so many of us, and definitely myself included, don't want to do that. And we can choose not to do that, which is what I've done for a long time. Did I tell you that I hired a marketing assistant? Not assistant,
No,
a marketing coach. Um,
no.
and she's fabulous. Her name is Heidi McIntyre, and I can provide her contact. But we're going to relaunch Unstuck as an experiment. Because last year I
Oh,
kickstarted it, so I sent some emails about Kickstarter, and then I put it on my Shopify, sent an email about that, and then when it hit wide, sent another email. That's it. That's all I've ever done. When we were talking, I went and looked. I have 47 reviews on Amazon. I don't even know how they got there because I would have expected six. Like I have never, ever pushed that book. I've done no marketing
but
of
it's
it
so
at all.
good. I've read it. I loved it.
It's a great book. I'm really proud of it. And with the fix coming out, and I want to like revamp the cover so that the fix matches Unstuck matches Life in Stitches, so the three memoirs could be so we're doing this together, and I'm really kind of appreciating that my job is to figure out how to sell in the best way that I can, and that it's my job, and maybe this far down the track I'm learning. But it's going to be interesting to try to attempt a relaunch on a book that's been out there, but to get it into other people's hands and then watch the ROI because it's a really clean ROI. What it's selling organically now is it's selling, but it's low. And anything I do, I'll be able to measure because it'll be a direct result and I can direct them to the store. So that's what I've been working on in the last few weeks.
Why didn't you like selling? Because I'm going to assume that from this point forward, you now like selling because that's the framework that you're
I
putting into your brain. You like
I
selling, don't
love, I
you?
love, I
I know
love
you do. Yeah,
selling.
you do.
I love it.
You fucking love
Um,
it.
well, sorry, I keep coughing. The reason I didn't like selling in the past is that it definitely feels too tall
It
poppy.
felt.
It felt too tall poppy. It felt look at me, aren't I great? Don't you want to buy this? It felt very salesy, very smarmy. Please buy it, please buy it. You got to buy it. Have you bought it? Have you read it? But what
But
I'm
what do
learning,
readers want?
they want books. They want good books.
Books.
They want
They
books
want
to read.
books.
And somebody said recently, and I know why am I blanking on who said this, but I think it was on my podcast. Oh, it was Katrina Turner, uh, who said we have to give them the opportunity to buy it. We have to present them with the choice. We're doing them a disservice if we do not present them with the choice. And nobody's going to make a perfect stranger who has never met me in real life buy a book that they don't want to buy, but they can't buy it unless I present them with the choice.
I
Duh.
was in a conference. I can't remember which conference it was. Oh, it must have been Vegas. And I was listening to Willow Winters speak. And she
Of
said something
anybody to listen to.
so profound that it really rocked me. And what she basically said is that who are you to
Yes.
judge what is in a reader's pocket? And
Ooh.
who are you to determine whether or not they should spend it on your book? If they have £100 to their name and they want to spend 50 of those pounds on your special edition, that is up to them. And I was like, whoa. Like, it was a real, like, wait, what moment?
That's
Yeah.
interesting because I've really internalized that pretty well about teaching because my master classes they're not cheap. And I raise prices when I need to as inflation goes up, and I try not to judge what they are like. Oh, who could afford this? It's not my business, so I can do that easily. I can do that easily for teaching because I know what a service I am offering. I know that I'm fucking good at what I do. But for
You
books,
know you're
oh,
providing
how could I
value.
ask them to spend $7.99? I know I'm providing value, and I know I'm providing value with my books, and I feel like maybe I'm having my Willow Winters dropped penny moment with this. Um,
Mm.
it's who am I? I really like that. Who am I to judge them, and who am I to keep it from them if this is something that people are looking for? So you may be seeing me on a TikTok channel near you, and trying some experiments, and yeah,
Do you know what I love about social media?
tell me.
That we fail 99% of the time. And it is the greatest, most effective mechanism at teaching you resilience as an author. There is no
Mm.
greater mechanism at teaching. Not even getting rejected by agents is as effective at teaching you how to be resilient in the face of failure. Because if you are posting 3 videos a day, you can bet your ass you are going to be failing probably 3 times a day, you know? And the other reason is because it is so immediate on the feedback,
Hmm.
and not just algorithm feedback, but it is also feedback on engagement and what resonates and what lands with readers. Because even if you only get 200 views, if you get 20 comments on that, but you get a video that has 10,000 views and you've only had 5 comments on it, then something that you did in that 200 view video worked better than your 10,000 view. You know that
Yeah,
that 10,000 one was just about the algorithm. It wasn't about engagement and landing with a reader. And like
that's a
that is
master
why
class right there. That makes me want to
I
do TikTok, and nothing makes me want
yeah.
to do TikTok. But that,
Or
when you
but
put it in terms of
Instagram or
learning,
whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I'm just thinking social media. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I fucking love social media. Like, I think it is the greatest tool that an author has been given if you like it. And if you don't
Yes.
like it, you shouldn't do it.
Don't do it if you
Don't do it.
can't love it. And I
No.
yeah, so what Heidi is doing, and I'll just say hi, I just looked up HeidiMcIntyre.com/coach. We'll bring you to her. And what she's done is she takes the book and she has this process of breaking it apart into everything that we know we should do. Our marketing segments, our target audience, hooks that we can use, and putting them all in one place. And she's just the person that I needed to get it to all line up. And when I was stressed out about it, I'm like, do I need to start this, tomorrow? Do I need to start posting? She's like, no, we don't have a plan yet. And the next time we meet, we're gonna have she's gonna bring me a plan, and then I'll start doing the plan. And I'm a person who will do anything. I'm the opposite of you. I'll do anything somebody tells me to do it. You know, that is when I will do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Oh, I love that. Oh, I
yeah,
love that. I am
yeah,
very excited to see
I'm
where you are
I'm
in
excited
like
to
three
see
months' time.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly what
Yeah.
happens with that. And I'm going to use it also for, I mean, I might as well, on the book that's coming out in August, The Seven Miracles. I should probably do something about that too.
I wonder if you will enjoy social media more.
I, I, I bet that I will.
Yeah.
If I'm
Yeah.
learning, if I'm actively learning, then yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Like that, I think that is, I just made social media a game because then competition can win at it. That's
And
what
I
I
have high
did.
competition. Yeah.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, but maybe it comes, maybe you need to frame it a different way. I don't know. Like, but for me, that's what worked. We'll just make it a game. How do you win at social media?
That's delicious.
And of
Can I
course,
win? Can I win once a week? You know?
yeah, yeah, exactly. And if you win once a week, can you win, or
Oh,
make the win this week getting 300 views consistently, or then
exactly.
getting 500 views consistently, or whatever,
If I have
getting
a tiny little
engagement higher.
goal to go for it, and this is super in the weeds, but I just saw somewhere you send out Instagram Reels to non-followers. I saw that this I saw a
I think so,
technique that you
yeah.
send out Reels to only non-followers, and you can
Yeah.
send out, you know, 5 a day, 10 a day, or whatever, and you can just keep reusing the same content. And then if one hits, then that's the one you can turn on and show everybody, including your followers, which I thought was kind of smart.
Yeah, well, that's basically what TikTok does because it starts with like non-followers and
Oh,
then
I
if
thought it started with your followers on TikTok. It's the
no,
other way.
that's why TikTok is so powerful because you're
Ah,
constantly advertising to new people who don't know who you are. That's why it's such a big sales generator because it's basically Facebook advertising but for free.
can I just tell you that you just blew my mind, and I did not know that. I thought it went to my followers, and then if they
No,
liked it, it would push it out bigger.
that's Instagram. That's
Right.
what
I thought they were the
Instagram
same.
does. No. Why do you think people love TikTok so much?
Well, that explains why I never see anybody I follow on TikTok too.
Yes.
You know? If I see you like once, I'm like, oh, I'll put a heart. I want to see more of that, like on Instagram. But it doesn't work. I don't see you again for 3 months because it's
Yeah,
pushing
that's
you.
why.
You also just changed my mind on that. Oh, you suck in the very best way.
I
I'm
know,
really
I know.
glad. I know we have to go, and this is kind of a short episode. Sorry about that. But I'm really glad that you're continuing to do this. with me.
Yeah,
And
yeah, of
please
course.
know that like you and I are just this, we're the same kind of people. And one day Jay Thorne and I woke up and we were on the air and we're like, oh, are we done? Okay, let's be done. We can always do that, because things change in our lives, but I would love to keep going with you and
Yeah,
keep
no, I
having
love
these
this. It's such a,
conversations.
yeah, I love it. It feels like a reflection moment and it's
Yeah.
you time. And yeah, no, I love it. I
Yeah.
don't want to stop this.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Oh, congratulations on moving forward
Thanks.
with this next stage. And I can't wait to listen to the show.
I know. Oh my God, get your
Oh,
tissues ready. It is proper
I will. I'm gonna go
emotion.
for a long
Yeah.
walk in the hills.
Yeah.
That'll be a walking episode. Oh, my
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank
Congratulations. You've done
you.
great. All
Thank
right.
you. See you
Bye.
next time. Bye.
Don't forget to tune in and subscribe on your podcatcher. And when you have a moment, please leave a review.